Insight 162. Men ought to know that many women are approached by unsavory men seeking sexual advances, and that many women might feel lessened to a mere sexual object if a male friend spoke to them regarding sexual matters. So, as you know, a lot of men are powerfully influenced by various sexual presentations, and because they're so powerfully influenced, they want to be able to talk about these things with an actual female, to get their views across, to get their ideas across, to understand about the female perspective, many things. Various. It's just, there's too much. So they want to get it out. They want to talk about it. They want to explore this. Often men think to themselves they would love to be interactive sexually with a woman, and so they would think that the woman would like to also be sexually involved. And this is what they think, some men. And so they wonder why some women are not that way. The men are wondering what's the problem. Anyway, so they're powerfully influenced, and so they want to be able to talk to females about it. Of course, for many women, many women have been approached by men who think of them quite lowly and only for one thing, and so the woman does not appreciate that. Many women don't appreciate that. Yeah, and so knowing this, a man has to understand, hey, try not to approach women to try to talk to them about these issues, because they're going to think you're unsavory. So basically the men here, inside 163, so a little background here. So basically the men want to interact with women. They're wondering why they can't, because when they're viewing these various sexual presentations, the women are interacting with men, and so the men want to interact. Men in actual life want to interact with women, and they're wondering why they're not getting much interaction with women. So, Insight 163. And the problem is that what is shown on the visual depictions in these sexual presentations is not a depiction of a representation of reality. So you need to really find out what a woman really thinks like. What do women really think? So knowing the way many women think makes a significant dent in the belief that many females are similar to the behavior displayed by women in the manipulated presentations. Wow, that's a bit wordy there. Yeah, very wordy. I apologize. Okay, so knowing that the way... So here, therefore, communicate to the intelligent, thinking opposite sex to hear the truth from their mouths. So basically what I'm saying, you need to understand how a female thinks. Go ahead and talk to them. There's going to be all sorts of various sorts of opinions, but nonetheless, get started. Talk to many females and learn and understand what do they think about relationships, what do they think about sexual interactions and various things, what do they think about marriage, boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, so many things like that. You have to find somebody who's willing to talk about these things, and also determine which one is more intelligent than the others, which one is being more real, more in depth. You can only tell the difference when you talk to a lot of them and learn different perspectives. So here's the explanation. It is very important for men and women to talk together to understand each other's perspectives about various issues. There is a considerable gap of understanding between men and women. I encourage you to start group talks between men and women in order to understand about each other, to understand about each other's perspectives on relationships, to understand about sexual perspectives, diseases, respect, progeny, hopes, futures, etc. Essentially, you need a true source, and the manipulators' presentations, visual, auditory, or otherwise, are not a true source of reality. So you want to talk to real people and learn about what is reality like from the woman's perspective or the man's perspective. If you're a woman, you need to talk to guys and learn what are they really like, what are relationships to them, and what is sexuality to them, is all these things. Insight 164. If you have a female friend to talk to sincerely, mentally or emotionally, then place your enjoyment in talking and interacting with her. This will dissuade you from having to always experience pleasure from sex or from self-pleasure. Treasure and value her and deal with her caringly. Treasure and value yourself and deal caringly with yourself. Place your happiness first and foremost with spending time with yourself and appreciating yourself. For countless reasons, your female friend might leave you. Therefore, recognize that she is not a reliable source of happiness. Learn to depend on yourself for happiness. Details in upcoming book. This has to do a lot with emotional fulfillment, but I'm touching on it lightly. Emotional fulfillment is part of a big part of sexual addiction. It plays a part in it. There are two different things. However, it's important to feel happy about yourself. Feel happy. Insight 165. One must actively and decisively take assertive action in establishing one's consciousness in the truth said herein. Otherwise, it is easy for the individual to fall into the dualistic, meaning dramatic differences, ways of thinking, and wanting to feel pleasure. People love to feel, to be in the ecstasy of sexual pleasure, to enjoy life, and the mental and emotional ecstasy of a relationship. Ecstasy. The presence of a relationship, even though not yet sexual, brings hope in the future that such a union might take place. In the absence of a relationship, or when one feels that an existing relationship will cease to exist in the future, one might become hopeless of the sexual union occurring. Therefore, one might engulf oneself excessively in the realms of self-pleasure. Such encounters in the future with another or with oneself depletes oneself of considerable strength. One must be aware of this depletion and eat, rest, and perform sexual pleasure moderately, otherwise injury might come to oneself. Yeah. One can easily get carried away and be affected by the dualistic nature of various situations, people, and objects. And so, to avoid that, one must actively, you must be active and decisive and take assertive action in establishing one's consciousness in the truths said in this book, to free your mind from all these dualisms, of the dramatic differences. Free yourself, be happy. So, people like to feel love, they like to feel pleasure, and when you're involved in a relationship, even though it's non-sexual, it still gives you the hope that in the near future or in the future you will be having sexual interaction with this person. So you're feeling pleasure now with the mental and emotional pleasure, and um, the hopes of having sexual pleasure in the future also keeps you satisfied somewhat. When you do not have a relationship, then you don't see any hope of sexual union, of experiencing sex in the near future. So you might feel depressed about that and want to experience it now. And this is one of the reasons why you might go ahead and self-pleasure or get involved in some kind of sexual activity here and now because you don't see any hope for it in the future. This is true also for people who are in an existing relationship, who do have a relationship that it's going sour, and so then hopes again of a sexual interaction in the future is dampened, is not there's not much hope. So then you might again go back into want to experience sexual pleasure now because you don't see it happening in the near future. So knowing this and knowing the various other reasons why you get into behaving sexually by either viewing sexual presentations or self-pleasuring or getting involved in some kind of other sexual activity, knowing the reasons why, you want to figure out the reasons why, and we're going over many of them, and you're going to discover your own specific reasons why, but this is one of them. Why we want to discover? Because you want to go out of the unconscious interaction to a conscious knowing of why you do the things you do. Then you can deal with it. Insight 166. It is vitally important for you to detect the state of equilibrium of your body, mind, and emotions. Is your mind racing? Is your body and energy generally very active, as if it cannot be stopped? When you feel this way, you can easily be influenced to continue with sexual arousal if you think sexually or are slightly exposed to it. When you feel this way, you can easily be influenced to continue with sexual arousal if you think sexually or are slightly exposed to it. However, if you keep your mind and body steady and in a state of equilibrium, then you are more in charge of your bodily functions and your mind. Start with a slow, deep breath. In this state, you are less likely to simply follow your mental and physical moods. Remain steady in yourself. Happiness resides in you. You will experience true pleasure and heavenly bliss because you are the one providing heavenly bliss with your demeanor and attitude about yourself and the world around you. You bring heaven to earth, affecting positively those who are somewhat aware of this heavenly state. For those who are in despair, despair is what they experience. Even though you bring heaven, they experience it as hell. Therefore, be concerned with establishing your own awareness, establishing heaven in you. All right, that was a mouthful. Okay, so it is vitally important for you to detect the state of equilibrium of your body, mind, and emotions. So it is vital. This is vital information for you to. Vitally important for you to detect. You need to detect. You need to become aware. You need to analyze yourself. The state of the equilibrium of your body. Do you feel settled, relaxed, calm? The state of your mind, the equilibrium of your mind. You need to gauge it. You need to be aware. And also your emotions. There's a video of mine in Speaker's Corner. I was talking with some some people there, and you can see it in the happenings photos section, happenings/photos section on the sagehope.wordpress.com first page. Look for the word happenings or haps or photos, pictures. Click on it, go there and see me and Speaker's Corner. I'm all have a hood of some sort, not a hood, what do you call those things? A hat of some sorts. And I'm covered up really because it was really cold. And anyways, I have my guitar. I was about to leave when I got into this interaction with this person. So go ahead and see and notice my expression on my face. All throughout of it, of this interaction with this person, which other people could be angry with. I have this decision. I make a decision on my own whether I want to be angry or not angry. Generally, I'm not angry. In this situation, I'm just making a point, standing my ground, making this guy go to his corner, and but I'm aware of my own state of mind, my own state of emotions, and my own body. I'm comfortable throughout the whole deal. I'm not agitated in any way, and you can see that facially. You can see that I'm smiling at many points, and just simply standing my ground. So it's important for you to be aware of your body. Is it agitated? Is your mind racing? Is your energy, your body and your energy just generally very active? Is it active like that? You see some kids who are very active, or dogs who are very active, and they cannot stop doing things because they got this energy, and the energy needs to go out, and so it needs to be used. So they're generally active. They're going here, doing there, doing there. You give them some idea to do, they'll do it because they're inclined to spend the energy. Then they got the energy, So that's what you need to be aware of in your own body. Is the energy in your body settled? Because if you're too active, if you're allowing the energy to just flow, wow, well then it's gonna flow. And if you're exposed to sexual misinformation, you're likely to you're more susceptible to it. You're more likely to be tricked by it and go along with it because your energy is in a flow state of active. If somebody wants to play games with you, you'll say, yeah, let's play games. It could be anything. So this other state of mind and state of body or state of energy you need to be aware of also, because it's another reason why sometimes you get into sexual activity, and you need to be aware of it. So I say to keep your mind and body steady in a state of equilibrium. Very peaceful, very calming, very enjoyable, very in charge. It's a very pleasurable state to be in. And when you do so, your happiness resides in you. This is part of it. There are other reasons why you need to learn about happiness, but this is one big part of it. Here you are, you exist, Any condition you want to mention, most conditions you want to mention that you might be unhappy about, has nothing to do with actual life. It has to do with man-made life, which is not real life. It's man-made. It's artificial. Real life is similar to the green grass behind me. So that's real. You got green, alive, bright green, cheery bright green grass. It's edible, soft to walk on, life-giving. You know, life is not the asphalt that you walk on. All right, so I'm going to read the explanation. Notice your energy and focus. Is your energy and or your focus outside of your body? So, is your energy or your focus outside of your body? Do you lean forward? Do you want something? All these states indicate a possibility of you being unstable. I will try to explain in more detail in the paragraph above. Observe your actions and state of being in various parts of the day. Do you often seem to be reaching for something to pick up in front of you? If yes, then it is likely that you are too involved in the outside world. When you do pick up a lot, when you do get involved a lot, your body and your active energy tends to remain in that state of hurry. Your active energy seems to be focused on something outside of yourself, usually in front of you. Therefore, even your head leans forward. Therefore, remain in peace and extinguish your wants. Experience this heavenly state of bliss. The second point is that if a person believes that people have ill intentions when someone approaches them with a caring or blissful attitude, the person thinks they are being sarcastic or wants to trick them. It is good to leave this type of person in their negative view of the world, because involving yourself with them could get you in trouble, since they think you are ill-intentioned. You may decide to inject some sort of positive influence in this person's life by means of humor, tricks, caring, love, etc. It is up to you, of course. Regardless, you should be concerned with experiencing peace within yourself. And you can share this knowledge with those who have the ability to understand you and establish peace within themselves. So you meet some people who have the ability to understand the state of peace and bliss. They could be on the verge of either experiencing both ill and the good. And so if you meet these people, you can interact with them. They have the ability to learn and experience this bliss that you're experiencing, this positive state of simply just being. We look at the tree back there. Here's a tree, right? This beautiful tree right here, right? What does it do for a living? Why is it that so many people in their lives are so bent out of shape, looking for a job and taking care of the family, so many things, in a state of anguish and constant working, overworking, getting little pay? Why can't people be like this tree? Why? Why can't people be like this tree? Peace, calm, takes its nutrition from the ground and is. People ought to learn from that, really honestly. You got plants, right? And humans. Plants and humans. It's like plants versus humans. Humans are often so very arrogant about their supposed technology. Really? Is that really impressive? To show me or show the world your powerful weapons that destroy plants and human beings? Is that really something to be proud of? It's like a big, mad, stupid bully, He says, Look what I can do. This. When you build these buildings, these huge buildings, are we supposed to be impressed by them? They catch on fire. They don't have proper fire escapes. They don't have a. They build these tall buildings, and they don't have proper way to get down. What the heck is that about? Anyway, so you got man versus plants. Man is very arrogant about himself and the various technologies that he builds and the rapid lifestyle that he builds. He thinks is so super and fast and all this stuff. Man has the audacity to claim animals don't have spirit. Plants have no spirit. Alright, let's put it to observation. Man breathes the air that plants supply. Plants provide the air for man to breathe and live and exist. Plants are giving. Plants are giving. Not man. Plants provide the food that man requires. Even all the animals eat plants. That's like a tiger. A tiger will eat another animal, but that other animal has to eat plants. Because why? Because food source is the plants. Plants are the food source. Ultimately, that's what it is. So man breathes because of plants. Eats because of plants, gets his nutrition that way. And this man has the audacity to say, oh, plants have no spirit? Man, where you yeah, you call yourself intelligent? Whatever you are, man, that plant is. And even maybe more, that plant, because you come from it. So, man has created troubles in life in a big, big, massive way. We have to go back to the plant way of life to learn from the plants. How do they supply us all this phenomenal food, and we so arrogantly throw it away by the tons every day, not wishing to share it with people so that they can eat it? Idiot humans. Because human wants the money, the profit, the money. My God, how stupid that is. You see how stupid that is? Plant is supplying the food because man is, planting the plants, and plant is supplying so much food, hundredfold. And man says, oh, let us hoard this. Stupid. So why am I saying this? Because I want you to recognize that there is reality, life in its realness, how problemless it is, how freeing and how green it is, how wonderful it is. If you were in the jungle, you would have fruits all over, fruits here all over. You'd be picking fruits, eating, That's life, real life. Here, you're supplied with all sorts of problems that affect your happiness. Problems that are man-made that are affecting your happiness. And I want you to recognize that. And this slowing down and experiencing life in its most natural way as possible, so that you get reacquainted with your natural state of bliss, your natural state of peace. So, you will meet people who have this attitude of negative attitude. You come upon them, no matter what you say or do, usually they have the ability to change it and see it in a negative way. No need for you to bother trying to change these people's minds or trying to affect them positively. Just you be yourself. You be yourself, your positive self, and hopefully maybe one day they will learn. But it's up to them really. And you want to be positive and quite naturally affect people who have the ability to receive the positivity and understand it and have it themselves as well. Okay, another very important state to be aware of. Another unstable feeling that is good for you to notice is when you focus on uncertainty. All right. All right, this is very important. Very important. So, uncertainty, such as an uncertainty about a sexual situation. During this thought, or series of thoughts, an unsettling, dispersing feeling is felt within the mind and the body. The feeling is as if the energy within the body is dispersed, dissipated. The energy has no harmonious direction. This state is a reflection of an uncertain mind. The body does not know whether to act or not to act, to go here or go there. The mind does not know what to think. Questioning oneself internally could be something like this. Shall I proceed to gratify myself or not? Shall I fantasize or not? What shall I fantasize about that will be acceptable by various societal or personal standards? The mind in this state is non-committed to any decision or action because of uncertainty. The body mimics this state of mind, this state of the mind. The body mimics this unsettling feeling. Therefore, you feel energy within you scattered. Your body energy starts to go to a direction of action. However, since the mind is not sure, the mind stops the energy and redirects it to another possibility of action. This happens many times consecutively. Therefore, the energy is displaced repeatedly and remains unsettled in the body, with no avenue of output. The energy, unlike this, is when you are certain about a decision. When your body reflects this state of mind, it is calm and harmonious. It is highly beneficial to get out of a state of uncertainty. Your mind and body remaining in a state of perplexity is problematic. So, this occurred to me once, and so that's why I'm explaining it to you. At one point, you might feel this happens this might happen in your when you've gotten over a lot of hurdles in sexuality, where you've taken you've almost completely mastered the whole situation, and this may come upon you this state of mind that, oh, do I want a self-pleasure or not? And if I do want to have self-pleasure, what is the right way to have self-pleasure? What would be the right way? Meaning you have enough control of yourself, over your body and your mind and the state of emotion and sexuality to actually direct it if you want to. And so you're making a decision consciously, okay, what should I have it? How should I have it like? What would be the right way to have self-pleasure without feeling that it's going against societal standards, going against, meaning being bad or being negative or being passionate. So you want to be, this was basically what's happening is the person is making a conscious decision about how to go about expressing one's sexuality with oneself at that moment or with another person. And so they're being very conscious about it. Now, in the similar situation occurs with people who have not overcome sexual manipulation, and so they, however, experience it differently. They experience it as a battle. Oh, I want to have sex. No, but sex is bad. Oh, I want to have sexual interaction, but it's so, I feel so dirty and icky, and it's so, so devilish, and as an example, being very crude about it. But it's a battle within oneself, But here, when one has generally overcome most of the problematic situations of, overcoming sexual fixations largely, it's now no longer a battle, but rather a decision-making process. You're deciding, how shall I be? But the energy within you, since it's half aroused, roused or brought out, you're wondering where to put it so it fits correctly, and so you haven't made up your mind about it. You're uncertain, and so the energy within your body, you haven't decided which is the right way, and so the energy doesn't know where to go. You're like, maybe this way, maybe that way, no. And so you feel actually within your body, the energy within your hands, everything, just dispersing, So this uncertain state is not good to be in that state. But don't worry about it. It'll pass, no big deal. But just want to let you know about it. Insight 167. The drawback emotionally is that if you have a female friend that you rely on sometimes to share your thoughts and feelings, if one time she is not available for you to interact with mentally and emotionally, you might spiral downward emotionally. In this state, you might be very vulnerable to self-pleasure or seeking the company of other individuals that might have sexual pleasure in mind, thereby influencing you negatively. You must ultimately be happy with yourself and make yourself your own fountainhead of emotional bliss. You must become the person that you go to for comfort, solace, love, understanding, and acceptance. When you have understood the knowledge contained in all the insights, from 1 through 167, which is this one, and have recognized their validity in real life, and when you have applied the principles in an effort to slowly but surely wean yourself off untruth and establish the truthful knowledge in your mind, the most important step is for you to establish such knowledge in your very being. The most important step is for you to establish such knowledge in your very being. By this I mean for you to embody the teachings. Again, I mean to apply such knowledge in your life by actions, to move the knowledge from your mind to your heart and body, and to take it to all of you. Anywhere that you are right now, calm your breath, calm your emotions, calm and turn off all body parts from action and or motion. Have your mind, body parts, and emotions rest in a state of inactivity under your full control. Assert your will on all your body to remain as such for the remainder of the day and forevermore. Only allow your body to act according to your directions. Your body should not look to act according to outside phenomenon. Apply the knowledge. In this way, you start your first winning move to establish yourself in control and stability over desire. Take into account the chapters that follow, as you will need them on your road to a full recovery. As you are recovering, there are some pitfalls to avoid, and they will be mentioned. If and when you falter, meaning self-pleasure, be kind, understanding, and forgiving to yourself. Remain positive. And do not forget, every mistake is a chance for you to learn and come to understand how you were manipulated. Therefore, look at each mistake positively. It is a chance for you to learn and improve. I am not saying this to be impractically cheerful and just to make you feel good. I am stating this for you to understand that this is the way to find out how the manipulations really work. What manipulations, right? There's so many different types, so many multi-layered. How will you identify them? Where and what are they? when they occur to you, your own specific manipulations and how your mind works on your mind, because everybody's mind is different, how they consider various things. Uh, Everybody's minds, the minds function similarly, but your concepts are different. The programming is different. Anyhow, when the problems occur, when you falter, when you are self-pleasuring, or when you're focusing on or watch these various sexual presentations, or when you involve sexually with somebody, okay, that's the time that you want to figure out what is going on. How did I get into this? Where is the manipulation? What was I thinking? What was I feeling? That's where you get to discover this is a positive thing. Every time you make a mistake, it's a positive thing. I'm totally in favor of people not taking actual actions to do something sexually with somebody else. When it's a um, when it's a mistake, when they're passion driven. I'm absolutely not for people going out and actually being sexually active with somebody, because that creates a lot of um, problems. It just adds to so many actual problems that could come from that, you know, such as diseases. A person could be married. Their family could know about it and find out about it or something, or the person might want to get back at you, and so many things can be complicated. So I'm for you to, if you're going to be sexual, to keep away from um, what's the word, from dangers and also complicating matters. Keeping it to yourself, self-pleasuring, is much better than going out and trying to be with others, because it's just very complicates the matter. Anyway, so keeping away from all kinds of dangers, keeping things uncomplicated, just being by oneself. Um, when one has self-pleasure, that's a mistake that has to be looked forward to, because that's where you can examine what in that specific situation occurred, how and what happened. You can examine your mind, you can examine the situation, the people, the places, the situations, to figure out, how was I manipulated into behaving sexually in this circumstance? How is it that I behaved unconsciously, passionately to go towards behaving sexually? You are to discover, and you're going to discover it with each instance that you make a mistake. So every mistake is a positive thing. I want you to look forward to making the mistakes, because that's where you get to discover through the mistakes what is actually going on. You will discover each specific situation that is affecting you, and you learn to master it. And like I said, I'm not saying this to be impractically cheerful. No, I'm being very genuine with you. It's really, really good. Because you say, when it comes to you in a different way, you say, it's coming from what way is it coming now? From that way, And because with every coming from every direction, the manipulation, you get to learn about it, identify it, right? Then you learn to overcome it. But like we said, with the conscious barriers of awareness, you become so intently aware of it that it cannot catch you by surprise again from the same way, with that same method. No. It will use a different method from the same way, from a different method, or a more potent way, or from a different direction. So you'll discover these things.